Will the ACC live up to its standards this year? Find out on 94 feet of UNC.
Gordy to Black. The time, 18. Shot, Jordan! Michael Jordan!
Swicker with the defense and the rebound. That's a good effort by Swicker.
Stackout streaking in on Park. Rebound stock is good, and he gets fouled by Park. Oh my goodness, what a dunk by Stackout.
I think that he brought him back so quickly, but you know what? They're down eight. It's very
Traffic. 4-on-1.
great job. What a terrific job in transition. I mean, you could.
The glass no good. Rebound followed by hand throw. Good! Carolina.
Inside 30 overall. Love, top of the key.
Alice, the belt is over. Carolina. The Tar Heels have won the national championship.
And that is it. There is a new team in college basketball. North Carolina takes the title. Captain, any final. North Carolina is the 2009 national champion. And this year, the confetti is going to fall to North Carolina. They're not going to be denied this time.
What's up, everybody? It is Thursday, August 22nd. You are tuned in to the 94 feet of UNC podcast. I am your host, Lindsay Graham. As you all know, that this is guest week. I got special guests on the show every day this week. So make sure that you follow me on YouTube or my Instagram and Twitter at 94 feet of UNC. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, share, comment button at the bottom and that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any content. I got a special guest, of course, in the building today. It's an honor to be in front of this gentleman, my guy AC. Before we're gonna get into it, we're gonna let him introduce himself. AC, how are you, my brother?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm happy to be on here, man. This is the first for me, man.
Yeah, it is,
First
man.
UNC
Like,
show
you
I've been
know,
on before. Haven't done a UNC
right.
show yet, man.
Hey, that's cool. That's dope because I haven't been on a Duke show yet, but that's in
We're
the
gonna
works.
get you on. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's in the
Don't worry
works for
about that.
sure. Yeah, absolutely. So, tell everybody about where you at and all of that and stuff, man, and what you got going on and everything.
No, I appreciate you, man. My name's AC. I'm one of the 5 hosts on the 5 Point Play podcast. You see the Twitter handles right there on the name. Man, it's Duke basketball, man. That's what we run. We run Duke basketball. We touch some other topics too, but that's our main thing. We're on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all the places you can get podcasts, Apple, Spotify, all those things. So we're out there, man, trying to do some work, man, just in this college basketball space, man.
Yeah, it's a big space to be in, man. It's
It
enough for
is.
a lot of people for sure. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So so just in case if anybody don't know, my man Pablo is also part of the 5 Point Play podcast. So I'm sure if you've all heard that name, that's where you've heard it from. I had Pablo on the show, earlier this week. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy right there. Reached out to him, he reached back, and we made some things happen or whatever. I've been watching y'all show for a long time, even though I'm a UNC fan.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Like, I wasn't in the comments a whole lot, but I was just listening to you guys, especially when it came time for UNC, of course, and a lot of things was said. So
we got talk smoke.
Absolutely. But I love what you guys got going on over there, regardless, even if you all are Duke fans or whatever. But y'all got a good thing going on over there. So it's a big shout out and support to y'all, man, for sure. So but today we're gonna get into today's topics, man. We got a few different topics that we're gonna just run through or whatever. Just get your perspective on things, see how you what you think about, as far as the ACC is concerned or whatever. Yep. So digging into the first topic or whatever, what do you think, or who do you think is the biggest and the best transfer this year going in in the ACC?
Man, that's a good one to start with, bro. This is a good one to start with.
We dig deep over here, man. You know what I'm saying? Or as Pablo would say, pause. But I don't play the pause game, and I tell him that all the time. You know,
you gotta watch what you say with pause, man.
Right, exactly.
You know, man. One of the things about the transfers with ACC, I don't think the ACC we never grabbed anybody like super high profile, right? Like we didn't get a John L. Davis or anything like that. The ACC, I think, this year did a good job of getting a lot of important pieces that their teams needed. I mean, there's some teams completely changed because of the transfer portal, including Duke, but like Louisville, man, like Louisville, you know, they've been the joke of the league for the past couple of years with Kenny Payne. Man, this year they did some work in the portal to the point where I think they might be in the top 5 of the conference for real. Like we're gonna get to that. I know we are, but like they really did some work, right? Like they really jumped into that portal hard, man. So they pause, but they
you ain't got to do that over here, AC or whatever. Like you ain't got to do that. I ain't Pablo, so we good, bro. We good.
yeah, no, you good, bro. But no, like they obviously bolstered their roster with some good players, but obviously, you know, and I'm not just saying this because I'm on the UNC podcast. You obviously got to start with Cade Tyson.
Right.
I think that was a super important pickup for y'all, especially in terms of what Hubert likes to do on the floor and the type of player he is and what he offers. I think it's no secret that having that, you know, that a bigger shooter on the roster is something that, you know, with Roy Williams, it used to be that the super fast point guard, right? Like the Ray Felton, the Ty Lawsons, that type. With man, if he has that big shooter like that can really stretch the floor, hustles, all those things that, you know, those guys do. I mean, UNC is always going to be dangerous if Hubert has that. Like that's in every coach has, you know, a type of player that their style works with. So, I mean, Cade's that's a big one, man. He's a big one.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Nah, go ahead. I was just letting you finish.
No, I appreciate you, bro. No, I mean, if anybody has seen Belmont play the past couple of seasons, I mean, you know his pedigree. So that the guy can play. He's gonna put shots up. He's gonna be efficient. I don't think he'll struggle with ACC competition this season. I don't think he'll struggle with the national competition. You know, I got a good schedule and you're out of conference. I don't think he's gonna struggle in that realm too. I mean, of course, everybody's gonna have some games here or there, but I think overall he's really gonna be an important player for y'all, man.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's crazy because I actually had the opportunity to meet Cade last week or whatever. Like, you know, real solid dude, man. Like, you know, like gas station 7-Eleven was doing its grand opening, and Cade happened to be there, and all of that. UNC kind of put that together. So he's a real cool dude, man. Real solid, real down to earth. You know what I'm saying? So I do think it's tough because Cade would probably be my number one, and that I'm being objective and taking my biasness out. I do think that he would probably be my number one transfer coming into the ACC. However, I mean, like you said, Louisville, they did pick up some really big pieces and key pieces. Like Pat Kelsey has done. Yeah, Pat Kelsey's done an incredible job, I think, with the recruiting. Now, of course, we got to wait and see how that transpires on the court. But you know, as far as like the names and things like that, and the work that he's put in, I think he did pretty well. And
now, did y'all play Charleston last year? Or was it the year before?
I think it was the year before.
Okay, I remember y'all played them recently.
I get them mixed up with it's because it's two of them, if I'm not mistaken. I think you got like Charleston, but then you got like College of Charleston or something like that. Like, isn't there two schools? I get them mixed up.
They used to always go by College of Charleston, but then they just switched. Then they just straight up start going by Charleston.
Okay, that might be it. But I think we played them 2 years ago. I don't remember them on the season and on the schedule from last year. You know, we had some tough games last year, man. Especially that Radford game. That was a little it was interesting because it's like, wow, this team is team is good. Like, you know, like they ran Carolina, gave Carolina like a run for their money, man, for sure. So, but Yeah, I think Cade Tyson would probably. I'm sure there's some others out there. I just can't think of anyone. Now I will say this.
I'll run through
I
a
do
couple for
think.
you
Go ahead.
because there's another one, and this is another team that I think is going to surprise is Georgia Tech. They got J.V. McCollum from Oklahoma, the point guard at Oklahoma. He's kind of a combo guard. He ran the offense for them, but he's definitely at his best when he's scoring. I think that's a big pickup. Louisville, we talked about Louisville and the changes that they made, getting Terrence Edwards from JMU. I think that's a huge pickup, man. Obviously the dude at JMU was a killer. Averaged like 20 points a game for them. Was one of the reasons why they were such a dangerous team, and one of the reasons why in the tournament everybody was like they're gonna beat Duke. Like that was like the upset special pick was JMU over Duke. So that was
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah. I remember that episode when y'all talked about that too. So yeah.
So that was a big deal. Picking him up to especially to go along with Chucky Hepburn from Wisconsin. Those two, that's a dangerous backcourt, man. They really did. They really bolstered their backcourt there. And I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about my guys, man. We picked up Malik Brown from in conference. We got Cian James from Tulane. I know with the being in conference, I think Malik Brown's probably a little more of a known name to the ACC fans and everything. Just the versatility on defense that he offers. Like Duke this year's the focus you can tell has been on defense. So I think that's a huge pickup, a very, very big pickup getting him. Just that 6'8", 6'9" type with the length and being able to guard the perimeter or the interior on the switch. I think he's a big time player, man. He really is, and he did a lot of work for a Syracuse team that was struggling.
That is true. That is true. I never really looked at Malik Brown like that just because of the fact that he was already in the ACC.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally get and understand where you're coming from now. Cian, I mentioned this to Pablo. Like, if being a Tar Heel fan, he's probably to me he's the only one that makes me a little nervous.
Sure.
When it comes to Duke, I mean, he's just so solid. He looks like a football player. Yep. And I mean, he's Pablo, he was asking me like, oh, he's the only one that scares you. And I'm like, bro, dude is solid, man. That is a big guy. What is he, 6'5", something like that?
Yeah, probably 6'5", 6. They list him at 6'6". He's probably closer to 6'5".
Yeah, so that's that's he can play that 2-3 position, and just by him being as strong as he is, that makes me a little bit nervous. But I think he would probably go down. Either him or Chucky Hepburn would go down as like 2 and 3 as far as best transfers and biggest transfers in the ACC behind Cade. But Cade is huge, shooting 50+% from the 3 last year at Belmont. Don't know if that's going to happen like that this year at Carolina because it's a totally different system, totally different conference. So I mean, of course, we just got to wait and see how that's going to work out and transpire on the court. So, but I'm with you on that. He can.
He can shoot. You can shoot, and that translates. And Hubert's good about getting those types of players open, man. And RJ is going to open a lot of things up for him. Elliott's going to be able to get him the ball where he needs it. Like he's a good point guard in that regard of being able to just know people's strengths and everything. Like it's going to be straight. That backcourt's going to be straight.
Yeah, they got UNC listed as one of the best backcourts in the nation.
Yeah,
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. If you ask me, I think that they're either 1 or 2. The only other one that is that's right up there with them would probably be Rutgers with Dylan Harper and
Ace Bailey.
Ace Bailey.
Yeah.
So I mean, I got Carolina right up there as far as like one of the best backcourts in the nation.
There's some good guards in college this year, man. Like there's some really good back. Like Baylor getting Jeremy Roach to go with what they got, and VJ Edgecombe is nasty. Like Duke's backcourt, like you talking about Cian James, you talking about Tyrese Proctor, who's back. Like I know he had a down year, but I mean the dude, he's just getting older. Yeah. So we know what that does in the ACC. All you do is just get older, get more familiar. Who knows? Caleb Foster's a wild card. Some of the other guards we have are wild cards in terms of the freshmen. So it's packed, man. The backcourts are packed this season.
They are. It seems like that's the direction that the game is heading now, like more towards backcourt players more so than front court players, because it's just
funny because
the front court is the front court.
Last year,
like the front
Dickinson, all those cats, DJ Burns.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. So now I think it kind of bounces back and forth. It rotates, I guess. So next year it might be back at the front court and all of that and stuff with some of these other guys coming in, in the 2025 class. So we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be a very, very good college season this year, though. I truly do believe that. Like there's some. I'm just excited about it because of the moves that so many people have made this year. I'm ready to see how they maneuver on the court. Like, your Kentuckys, your Arkansas, Tennessee. I want to know what Purdue does without Edey, which I think they're a little bit overrated.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think UConn is a little bit overrated.
Kansas too. Throw Kansas in that conversation.
You think so?
As the number one, man. Ooh. But you know what? The thing about it is, like, who is it going to take? Like, in terms of the preseason, who's going to take number one from them right now because of who they got? Bringing in AJ Storr, keeping Hunter Dickinson, all that stuff. I mean, of course but I just are they going to win the Big 12? I don't even know if that. I don't know if they're going to win the Big 12 this year. Iowa State is right there, and they brought all their dudes back.
Yeah. Now there's some other teams too now in the Big 12, like Baylor. You got Baylor. Kansas State, I think, is a sleeper team in the Big 12 this year. With Coleman, with Coleman Hawkins and Onyenso, and you got Doug McDaniel from Michigan. Kansas State is going to be dangerous too. There's a few other teams. Interesting to see what Texas Tech does with JT Toppin. So it's the Big 12 is gonna be it's gonna be loaded this year. I can't wait. I want them to beat up on each other to make it easier for the ACC or whatever. So you know how that go, because they never give us no credit, man. And when it comes to the NCAA tournament, so I beat up on each other. Absolutely, make it easier for all of us. We'll take it.
Exactly,
we'll take it. So all right, moving on to our next topic. Your ACC first team prediction.
Ooh. Man, RJ Davis. I'm going to start right up with it. RJ.
That's a given.
I think RJ and Cooper Flag are probably the two gimmies. Man.
I got my own thoughts about Cooper.
Dog, I'm telling you.
Listen, man. Listen. I'll get to that in a second. I'm gonna let you finish though.
All right. Let's go RJ. Gotta go RJ. Gotta go. I gotta go Flag. I gotta go with my boy Flag.
Okay.
I think I think Terrence Edwards. If Louisville does what I think that he will do, I think you got to go with Terrence Edwards there.
Okay.
I don't know why I might have missed this information. Did Hunter Salas come back? He came back, right? So Hunter Salas is definitely a gimme. I think Hunter Salas and RJ, I think, are going to be top two in terms of vote getting for Player of the Year. I think the media may give Flag some votes if he does what he's supposed to do. He might get some votes just because he's just the media darling and everything else. But Salas and RJ Davis are just otherworldly talents in the ACC right now. So I think they're locked. So Salas, Flag, Edwards, RJ, and man, there's not a lot of center help right now in the league. Like, I think that's the one place in the ACC that kind of keeps the ACC down a little bit.
Yeah,
man. Maybe Huntley Hatfield over at NC State, because he's going to have to do a lot for them. If we're talking about a front court player, because they always try to get a front court player in there. If I had to go like off the top of the dome right now, if I had to go with anybody, I'll throw him on there for now.
Okay,
and that's kind of where it is. in terms of the bigs in the conference right now. I think a lot of them there are a lot of young guys, a lot, you know what I mean, all that type of stuff. So I think the bigs in the league are lacking a little bit. So I'll go with Huntley Hatfield for now, but I know that's not gonna be right.
Okay. All right. So mine's would definitely be RJ and Hunter, for sure. I don't know if I want to give Cooper that just yet. Now, I will say this. Cooper has a lot of hype around him. Now, don't get me wrong. Really good player. Good player. A lot of pressure on the young man this year.
Sure.
So, I mean, the pressure is extremely big and high. I mean, we've never seen the number one players coming out like that, and because of the fact that he's predicted number one in the draft, and things like that, a lot of those guys have really never been successful in that field when they go number one. Like a lot of, they may do what they do in college, like Zion,
right?
Like he's a prime example. Going one, I mean, dominant at Duke. Dominant. I mean, just physically dominant at Duke. Of course, all the hype around him. I'm not gonna lie, I was hype about it because I wanted to see. Because I'm looking at Zion and I'm like, oh, this dude is like a bull. Like
it's unreal.
Yeah, and I wanted to see. He's a big guy. I want to know what he's gonna do when he goes up against somebody that same size, like a LeBron James. Like when he gets to the league. And of course he gets to the league and it's like he's kind of nowhere to be found, if you ask me.
I mean, that's been the injuries though. Like he's been balling. Like when he's playing, he balls.
I think it's New Orleans.
Dog. He's got that Popeyes there, man. He can't help it. Have you been to New Orleans before? Have you had
some of the best food ever, man? I'm not even going to hold.
Somebody put a picture out of Skinny Zion the other day. If we get Skinny Zion, that might be a totally different story, man.
That is true.
That might be a different story.
But I just think it's going to be interesting to see what Cooper does because we got somebody like Drake Powell. He's a few inches shorter than Cooper, but he's a lockdown defender. He might even be our best defender on the team this year. Of course, Carolina is known for having that one lockdown defender, like Leaky Black.
Because you got Seth Trimble too.
Exactly, but I can't say that Trimble's going to guard Flag because of his height. But Drake Powell is, if he may lock Cooper down. So it's just going to be interesting to see what Cooper does as far as in the ACC this year. I'll throw him on the team. But
here's the thing about Coop, and I think this is because he doesn't do anything that looks special. Like his handle doesn't look special. Right. You know what I mean? He can jump, like he's athletic. He's athletic as hell, but you know what I mean? It's just it's not like he has like a superior skill, like a superior basketball skill. He's not a supreme shooter, not the world's best handler, like not a Jokic passer or anything like that. He does all those things really, really well. That's why he's the number one player in the class after reclassifying up. But his elite skill is his mentality. Like his competitiveness is like it's borderline like sociopathic, man. Like the dude is just he's a wild competitor. And I think that's what sets him apart. It's not the same as Zion. Like Zion, his like the force that he was being 260 and just doing the things he did, that was just completely overpowering. But like if you put Cooper Flag's mentality on Zion, you're talking about you're talking about like a true generational thing, like something you've never seen before. If Zion had that type of mentality, if you know what I'm saying, like. And I think that's the difference. Like I don't see Cooper taking over like Zion in that sense, like where it just looks so dominant. But I mean, he just moves different on the court, if that's the best way I can put it. Like everybody else look slower, and it's not even that he's faster than everybody else. It's just his anticipation, the way he thinks the game through, and just that hyper competitiveness that he has, it puts him over the top. So, I mean, I
He's
could
edgy.
absolutely see like a Drake Powell locking him down and like only allowing him to score like 9 points on like 15 shots, but
Yeah.
Coop might have like 14 rebounds and like 4 blocks and like 3.5, 5 steals or something like that in the game, and just trying to affect the game in other ways. Because no matter what, he is trying to win the game no matter what.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I just think that there's there's been a lot of talks about him being over or underrated. So
right.
And it's just, in my eyes, it's just never went well for like that number one spotlight player that comes into college basketball and then transitions into the NBA. It's just never went well for him. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just got to wait, and I'm only basing it off of like what I've seen. Like,
sure.
If
I mean, that's all you can base it off of, honestly.
Exactly. So but I'll throw him on there just because of the name. I mean, but I think when I talked to Pablo, I don't even know. Now, I think he did put him on the first team ACC, but we also talked about like All-American team. And I've never really, like Pablo said, that both of us agreed that I don't know what number one player that was a freshman has went on an All-American team national.
We've had a couple,
you know what I'm saying?
In the past, like Chet Holmgren was second team, I think. Paulo Banchero was first team. Zion was first team. I think Jabari Parker was a first team All-American when he was there. Jahlil Okafor was there, Duke first team. Y'all had who did y'all had y'all had a freshman that was first team a while ago, right? I don't know if Harrison Barnes made first team as a freshman, but he was honorable mention at least.
Yeah.
At least he was honorable mention.
Yeah, I never really, that's one thing that I probably need to kind of check some stats on and find out like what Carolina players as a freshman made the national player of the year team or whatever, first team.
Because Roy was always good about keeping people around. So a lot of times it was the older dudes were deferred to or whatever, and they were the ones that would get like Hansbrough and Lawson and all those cats would get the accolades and stuff. But I mean, you brought Brandon Wright in with Hansbrough. Brandon Wright was a monster, man. Like that was nasty at UNC, man. Marvin Williams was great.
Yeah.
Going back to
we got some history right there, man. Yeah, absolutely. So, well, I'll wait and see, but I'll put Cooper on there. What I got? 2 more, because I said RJ, Hunter, Cooper. I would have to.
We brought up Salas.
What is his name? Yeah. What's my? Because I got a different one from your center. I don't know about Huntley Hatfield. I'm not gonna say he can't. He could definitely do it because of a lot of it is going to be on him. But I would replace him with Ian Shefflin.
Okay. Shefflin's good.
I would replace him with Shefflin. And then what's my guy, the guard from Clemson?
Joe Girard?
Chase Hunter.
Oh yeah, Chase Hunter.
Yeah. So that might be my 5.
Okay.
Of course, you got the honorable mentions. You got Edwards.
What's his name?
Reed. I see him really stepping up.
He was the freshman last year. He's gonna be good.
That's another one.
He's gonna be tough.
I forgot all about him because I was gonna say Miles Kelly, but Miles Kelly went to Auburn. So
right.
Y'all gonna have to see him this year. Miles is nice, man. I like Miles Kelly. I like his game. I really do. But those would probably be. Burton, Marquise Burton from Notre Dame.
Yep.
He's another one. There's a few of them. Yeah,
he's a dog.
Yeah, he is, and this is his sophomore season.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. So
he's a dog.
So he is. I mean, now listen. I'll go with that. Second and third team, that's another whole nother story. I do think Elliot Cadeau is going to make one of them teams this year.
I think so
I think
too.
he's going to have an incredible sophomore season. I really do. He's tough, man. He is.
Mhm.
He over the summer he's worked on his jumper and on his shot. And
Mhm.
I think last year it was more of a mental thing, more so than anything. But it's hard to stay in front of him. You get up on him, he's gonna blow right by you.
Yeah.
And now this year, teams ain't gonna be able to sag off on him
Right.
because, like I said, with his jump shot and his shot that he's worked on throughout the summer, he's gonna be deadly. He's gonna be
Mhm.
deadly. So I can't wait. Like I said, man, college. I can't wait for this season. It's gonna be a
It's an exciting season, man. And the thing with
it really is.
Elliot, I don't even think he has to rely on his shot. I mean, he's so quick. Number one,
Yeah.
I can see him using that quickness and everything else to be able to, like, him setting his teammates up. He's such a good passer. When he was being recruited, like Duke was recruiting him. I liked Elliot Cadeau a lot. When our name was mentioned with him, I was excited about that. And one of the things
Yeah.
I looked at with him was just his ability to set teammates up, man. Like he's really good in that realm. And like whether teams sag on him or not, I think he can overcome that. I think he's the type of player who can overcome that type of thing where that's not gonna bother him.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's your ACC player of the year this year?
I think ultimately it'll be RJ. I think Salas will give him a run because he's going to have to be everything for Wake, especially if they're going to reach the expectations that they have with their team. Salas is going to have to, he's going to have to do everything. He's capable of it, man. Like that dude, the game that Wake beat us, the infamous court storm game or whatever. Salas is unreal, man. That was a vintage ACC game. Like I've been a Duke fan since like 88, 89. And watching that game felt like one of those old like 90s games where it's
like
just
with Randolph Childress and everybody.
Yeah, man. Seriously though, right? Like that's exactly. Like that's honestly what it reminded me of was Childress with UNC in the ACC tournament, man. Like just the way he went off.
Yeah.
Like Wake is dangerous simply because of Hunter Salas. Like if he didn't come back, you're talking about a team that's in the bottom of the league, in my opinion. But him alone puts them in that conversation of the top 5 at least.
Yeah.
He's that good. But RJ, I think the media will vote towards the teams that are the best. And I think, I think Duke and UNC will be the top 2 teams in the conference. And I think that goes to RJ if that's the case.
Yeah. I think the thing about RJ this year is RJ last year, and I tell everybody this, last year RJ was like the number 1 scoring option. Of course, we had Cormac who did his thing. Of course, Harrison Ingram, who was a dog. Really didn't expect him to explode the way he did in the ACC last year. Man. And then of course, Baycott, right? So Baycott didn't really scoring wise have like a big season like he did, in some of his previous years or whatever, and which made and gave it to RJ as far as being the leading scorer. I don't think RJ is going to have that pressure on him this year because we have so many weapons.
Yeah.
Like
Ian is going to take a lot of pressure off of him from the scoring side of it. Cade's going to take a lot of pressure off of him from the scoring side.
Elliot, if he drives to the basket.
Yeah, it might just make him more efficient, but I think his splits are probably going to be about the same. Like when you talk about a 17 to 20 point scorer a game, he's not going to be asked to facilitate, so he can just do his thing and play his game.
Yeah. Carolina's dangerous this year, man. I tell everybody, like a lot of people, we was hurting in the front court. And of course we didn't. We just picked up Tyjon Claude, which was a solid piece. I spoke with a few people. Some people didn't understand the pickup. Some people don't like the pickup. Some people like the pickup. I think it's a great pickup because of number one, I think this is his 6th year.
Yeah.
So he's got the experience. Number 2, he's already played in the ACC, so he already knows what that's about. Number 3, he's a I mean, he's a big body, 6'8",
Yeah.
230. Like, you know, you watch him in some of his highlights, man. Like when he gets the ball in the paint, he's gonna move you around. Like you're not gonna just stand still when it comes to him. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I think he has that, and I'm not gonna trying to give him a Dennis Rodman type of level of mindset would be, you know, really, really high. But I think his mindset, as far as when it comes to offensive rebound, knowing which way the ball is coming off the rim, because of the fact that, you know, that's what Rodman did. If you were shooting from the right corner, Rodman was on the left side because he already knew, all right, you shoot from there, that ball is coming off of this way, you know. And with Tyjon being, I think he was the 8th player on the team as far as minutes with Georgia Tech last year, but he led the ACC in offensive rebound. That says a lot. Like that says a lot. I mean, you talking about the Baycotts, the Ingrams, the Mark Mitchells, the Filipowskis, and I mean DJ Burns. I mean, you're talking about a lot of guys, PJ Hall and Shefflin. Like, you're talking about a lot of guys, and for him to not even be a starter and being the 8th player in minutes on Georgia Tech's team, but leading the ACC in the offensive rebounds, that's big. And Hubert is really big on rebounding in general.
He's perfect for y'all because you get the funnel of offense around the perimeter, which is I like not that Baycott, not that he would hurt this team, right? But you still got to get him touches down low, right? So you're still taking away from an RJ Davis shot or an Ian Jackson shot or, you know, a K Tyson shot. But with Claude and with Washington, like, you don't have to funnel the offense through them to be successful. Like, the perimeter is going to be like, it's going to take care of itself. And those dudes, like, having cleanup men like that is like, you can go far with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then you can't forget Lubin, who's another big body. I was speaking like I talked to Pablo, like, you know, he was, because we did a little exercise about like Joe Lunardi's way too early bracket, right? And it got down to Kentucky and Carolina, and Pablo picked Kentucky. And I'm not mad at his pick, but then I needed for him to explain why, because like I was telling him, bro, we got a lot of big bodies in the paint. Like, they might not be tall, but they're big, like
strong,
Lubin,
big, like that type of thing.
Strong,
and there's no, it's not like the league is full of giants anymore. Like, the giants are gone. Like, Hunter Dickinson is like in college in general, outside of the 7'9" dude or whatever at Florida. Like, there's no giants in college basketball this season where a team just can't handle that size or whatever. Like, Zach Edey was just so imposing or whatever, and the only team that could really do anything about it was UConn. But I mean, with Klingon, right? And now Klingon's gone. All those big dudes like that are gone. This is a guard season, man. It's a guard season.
It is. And it's funny that you mentioned the 7'9" guy. I think the NCAA should put some regulations on when it comes to height. I say that because my Tar Heels got to play Florida this year.
Yeah.
So
man, it's gonna be Taco Fall, but he's not even as good as Taco, bro. Y'all gonna run him up and down the floor. He has no stamina. I'm telling you.
Yeah. That's the way that's the way Carolina's got to beat them this year. They're gonna probably have to run, but Walter Clayton is really good. So they're gonna have to run him and run him to death to tire him out.
I think Giroux was at he was at IMG, right?
I think so.
And if you saw any games with IMG, old boy ain't play. Like,
but they're gonna use him.
Look, it's gonna be Taco Fall all over again.
How do you guard 7'9"? How do you guard 7'9"? The NCAA got to put some type of regulations on it. You can't be no taller than like 7'2".
Y'all used to kill who was it that had Kenny George? Hansborough used to eat him alive, bro. That was true. UNC Asheville, I think.
Yes.
I want to say that was Asheville back in the day. Hansborough used to eat that boy alive, man. And Kenny George was big. Like, he was like 7'7", but he was like big. Like, Giroux is like 7'9", but he's like 230 pounds.
I'm gonna tell you how Carolina beats him. Matter of fact, now that I think about it, Jalen Washington is going to have to come out of the paint.
Mm-hmm.
And, Jalen Washington is capable of the three. Like, he has a really good jump shot. He has a really good three shot. Like, he can shoot the three. He's going to have to bring him away from the paint.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody else can do what they do. You can Withers, which I'm thinking and I'm hoping that Withers has a really good year this year. I think Zayden High is going to be – I think he's going to have a breakout season. I really do. Like, Hubert's got a lot of different weapons, just like Shire does. He's got a lot of different weapons for him to do a lot of different rotation. So
I'd be surprised if Giroux plays 15 minutes in that game, man. I would. I'd be surprised. I'm telling you, man. I would not be scared of that boy, man.
Listen. You as a Duke fan should already know when it comes to Duke, Carolina, Kansas, Kentucky, if teams are playing them, they get up for them.
Yep.
And you already know that Florida is gonna be trying to figure that out or whatever the case may be. He doesn't really scare me, but we got to figure it out.
Matt Painter's looking at him from Purdue, looking at that boy like, man, like just salivating, bro.
Yeah. I bet Matt wish he had him too. Bet he wish he had him.
I want God to do for me. That's what Matt Painter's saying. I want God to do for me.
Right. Exactly. So, but it's gonna be interesting, man. So let's move to our next topic.
All right.
Who's your sleeper team in the ACC this year?
I mean, the cat's probably out of the bag. It's Louisville for me. I would put a little bit of a I guess not disclaimer, but I would throw some love towards Georgia Tech too. I think both of them have created some good. They have some good rosters that they've created for each other. Georgia Tech last year was competitive. They were that classic competitive against Duke, UNC, top teams in the league, those types of teams, and then they go and play like Louisville or somebody lose to them, right? Like play to their competition. But I mean, that's Stoudemire's first season. I think he's proving to be a really good head coach. And they return most of that team from last season. Plus, they bring in McCollum from Oklahoma, which is only going to help their scoring. I think they have some big guards, some strong guards at that who can shoot. They got Dongo in the post. They also they got another big post player.
They did get another post player. Yeah.
I'll look in a minute, but no, I think they did a good job constructing their roster, and I like Stoudemire as a coach. That's the one thing, man. Like, I'm talking about going back to like the 80s and 90s and the ACC and stuff. Like, I mean, at one point in the league, you had Roy Williams, Boeheim, Rick Pitino. The list goes on and on. Like, we had like seven or eight Hall of Fame coaches in the league.
Rick Barnes.
Yeah, and then even further back, Skip Prosser, Barnes, Dave Odom, all those guys, like
all of them.
Dean
Bobby
Smith, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's been a league of coaches, and I think that's where the league has been lacking. I don't think the talent's been lacking in the ACC as much as the national media wants to say. I think you've seen a lack of coaching. I think that's been the biggest issue, and I think you're starting to see some really young coaches that are coming up. Stoudemire, Micah over in Notre Dame. Shrewsbury. And of course, they take care of themselves with Hubert and Shire, but it's
Syracuse. That's not Kenny Payne.
No. Why am I blanking on Syracuse coach?
Me too. Oh man,
I'm gonna just type it in.
Is it It's Adrian.
Yep, Adrian Autry. Yeah. You got Autry there at Syracuse, and obviously we talked about Pat Kelsey with Louisville, man. Like, and Steve Forbes with Wake. I think he's proven to be a good coach. I mean, their epic collapse last season with a really good team to end the year after that Duke game. But I think a lot of that's on the players more so than the coach. In that sense, where they just kind of rested once they beat Duke, they were like, "We're good," and I think they didn't. Yeah. I don't think they pushed the way they needed to. But you were talking about a Wake Forest team that everybody was like, "Man, that's a top 5 seed in the NCAA tournament." like a 4 or 5 seed or whatever.
Yeah,
and then they just collapsed.
they
But
did.
so I think the coaching, if these guys stick around and can put their teams together, I think you're going to see the better coaching in the league again, which is going to only raise the level of competition and everything. But I like Stoudemire a lot, and I like Kelsey a lot, and that's one of the reasons I see those two as like really like sleepers in the league, especially considering where they finished last season.
Yeah. I would definitely I'd probably agree with you on that. With Kelsey and Louisville and Stoudemire at Georgia Tech. I do think I still think Wake Forest is going to be a really good team for sure.
Mm-hmm.
NC State
I
is
can't call
not
them a
looking
sleeper because
bad.
I think everybody expects them to be good.
Yeah. NC State is that might be the sleeper. Like, I mean, yeah, they had their little Cinderella run last year or whatever, but they got a few good, decent pieces. They picked up Styles, which I don't understand that. Like, you started at Carolina, you went to Georgetown, and now you at NC State. Like,
right.
You wanted to go to NC State from the beginning. You should have just went there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in my eyes, but
yeah.
I don't get that, but I mean, it is what it is. But I don't think Syracuse like that because they lost Mintz, they lost Malik Brown, they lost Quadir Copeland.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're gonna be near the bottom. Honestly, I don't see them being a league because Autry. I mean, he's still trying to figure out who he is. I mean, Syracuse. It was always you knew it. No matter what the roster was, you knew what they were. It's zone. They're gonna make you work for everything. And with Boeheim, they're probably gonna put some points up. Autry last year, it was like one game they scored 40, the next they scored 85, 90, and like who is this team? Like, what do they do?
Exactly. So I don't see the two Virginia teams. I don't see Miami. Clemson bothers me a little bit because they only really lost Gerard and Hall.
Yeah.
And then they went and picked up Zachary from Boston College, which is another really good player. He could, he's a sleeper, man. He could actually end up on that first team All ACC. I don't know. Yeah, but he could.
Did he finish third team last season?
I think he was on third team. Like he's really good, man. He's really good. So him, Chase Hunter, and Marquise Burton.
Yeah.
They're the ones that's kind of like on the outside looking in as far as me when it comes to first team All ACC. So but Clemson's you get a little nervous for them.
Sure.
It's tough. I'm like you. It's probably going to end up being. I'm thinking maybe between Clemson, Wake, Georgia Tech, Louisville, and I'm missing one team. What am I missing? It's not Notre Dame.
I mean, you got Louisville up there. You got Pitt up there. Any of them?
I don't see Pitt. I don't see Pitt. Pitt lost everything.
Yeah, they kept Jalen Lowe. I think that's it.
I think so. Yeah, like they lost Federico.
Yep.
I think they still got the Graham Diaz twins.
Yeah, the Graham Diaz is back. Henson's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. Carrington is gone. I don't see
Pitt up there.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I would have to do. If anything, I mean, of course, I would say UNC 1, Duke 2. Let's see, what did I say? I think Wake 3, Clemson 4, and Louisville 5.
Okay.
Louisville 5. And I could switch that as far as Louisville being maybe at 4 and Clemson at 5.
Okay.
But Clemson got some really good. Everybody is back, and that pickup with Zachary. So that I think that's what gives me the edge. I would probably say Louisville is at 5, just because of the fact I want to see what Louisville does. We haven't seen them yet.
Yeah.
If this team was last year, and then we see a few changes this year, then yeah. But you got a whole brand new team, so I got to see what you do first in order to make an assessment. So when it comes,
if we talking top
Louisville.
5 for the league,
yeah.
I think I'm pretty much in lockstep with you. I got Duke number 1, of course, but Duke, UNC top 2, right. And then Wake right after them. I think.
Yeah.
I think Salas is that good. Yeah, and then I think for the last 2 spots, it's Clemson, Louisville, and in my opinion, Georgia Tech. I think those 3 are fighting for those last 2 spots for the top 5 in the league.
And don't sleep, because Georgia Tech might end up creeping up in that 5th spot for you.
I know, right?
Over yeah. So over Louisville, I said,
NC State is there too, man. Like Middlebrooks is back, like whatever he can do. But Huntley Hatfield is good. Breon Pass is good. Like Mike James is a baller. Like they do have some players that work for Keats. I don't trust Kevin Keats.
I don't either.
I don't trust Kevin Keats. He got an extension. DJ Burns saves his job, man.
Was it Burns or was it Horn?
Right, exactly, right.
I don't understand that run. I just don't.
They call it heater, bro.
Oh man, I did not understand it. I mean, you talk to NC State fans, you would have think they won the national championship. They think that like they now all of a sudden they want to talk trash. Like, come on, man. Like, let's be honest. Let's see what you do this year. Let's see what you do this year.
In the tournament before the ACC tournament.
That's
they were
fact.
not a tournament team.
You're right. The only reason they got in is because they won the tournament. That's right.
If they lost to y'all in the championship game, they still wouldn't have been in the tournament.
I agree. I
mean, you
beat Carolina. I don't know. Somebody might have got paid off for that, man. I don't know. Because I just can't see it. Yeah, I just can't see it, because when you really think about it, outside of Horn and outside of Burns, what did they have?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you had Marcellus, but Marcellus wasn't like he's the 3rd, 4th, like that option. Like he wasn't that.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Like they had a roster, right? Like Marcellus, like, he's a good 4th option or whatever on your team.
Yeah.
Muhammad Diarra jumping off the way he did to end the season was big. I think that's a little underrated. I think that's as underrated as what Brady Manick did for UNC to end his season. I know with Caleb Love and RJ, like the spectacular guys got the credit, but Brady Manick was so good, and without him, it was a different story for sure. But with Diarra, it was the same thing for Diarra, man. Like, and then, I mean, you saw it in the Final Four. Like, my boy was going through Ramadan, couldn't eat, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, totally different player. Like, that was a big deal. But he played really well. Middlebrooks caught fire at the end just with doing the dirty work, like we were talking about with what Claude could do for UNC, stuff like that, getting those boards and things, guarding the interior. Middlebrooks was great. Like, I mean, he that's why I say I don't trust Keats. He had a good roster last season. He couldn't put it together to do anything worthwhile until the end of the season. I think they won in spite of him. I think the players took that over.
Yeah. I think so too. I'm like you. I don't trust Kevin Keats either. I don't like Kevin Keats. I don't trust him. That's NC State for you, though. I mean, that's the Wolfpack. So it is what it is. So so we done already jumped into that last topic, because that was the last topic, top 5 ACC schools this year. So
all right.
I mean, it flowed pretty much right on into it or whatever. So let's see. I do want to ask you this. What do you think when it comes to, I guess we can talk I don't want to talk Duke and UNC. I don't want to talk Duke. We're going to do another episode when it comes to that. We're really going to talk about that. But outside of the ACC, what teams are you like a little bit more nervous about, or looking forward to seeing, or that you think is going to have a good season this year outside of the ACC, just in college.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what Alabama can do. I think that Alabama over Kansas deserves to be number one. Their roster is really good. You're talking about a Final Four team that that brings a lot back, and also brought in Cliff Amore from Rutgers, which is a huge pickup. He fits Nate Oates' style to a T. I mean, Oates has done a great job constructing his roster. So I mean, but they're already considered one of the top teams. Like if I'm gonna dip down like a little bit lower in the rankings, I do think Iowa State is one of the best teams in the country, especially defensively. They have they have what everybody feels. Tony Bennett has done what he's done for so long. Iowa State plays that same style on defense, but they're talented offensively. That's the one thing Tony Bennett's teams I think have always kind of lacked, is that offensive talent. Except for the year they won the title, I think I think Iowa State offers that. I mean, to the tune of like Omaha Billy went to Wake Forest because he couldn't get on the floor at Iowa State. You're talking about a 5-star player there out of high school, which obviously doesn't mean anything when you step on campus, but the kid was talented. But Iowa State's got a really good team. Arizona's decent. I think Auburn's decent, but I mean, I don't know. Like they're not ranking Arkansas appropriately. I don't think. I think Arkansas is a really good team. You got Calipari back. You got all his dudes from Kentucky, basically. Like, that team last year was a top preseason top 10 team that underachieved. Like, they're just older now. He got a lot of dudes back from a crazy recruiting class. Like, they're gonna be good, man.
Arkansas is gonna be. I do think that Cal has put some really good pieces together. I'm like the same way I am with Kevin Keats. That's the same way I am with Cal. I'm not a Calipari fan. I think Calipari is. I think he's a little bit overrated to me. I'm not taking anything away from it as far as his accolades. I don't necessarily because I had this discussion with another friend of mine or whatever on one of my old shows or whatever, and we was talking about coaches in just in general as far as like the greatest coaches of all time and all of that and stuff. So I put a list together, and to be honest with you, Cal was probably around 12 to 15 for me.
I think he's
not in the top 10. Yeah, like he's not in the top 10 to me. He's only got one natty. The good thing that Cal does, in my eyes, is he is a great recruiter.
Yeah.
But as far as winning like that,
yeah,
I don't have him up there or whatever. So I
mean, his strength is one of his weaknesses, right? Like, he puts together really good teams with the recruiting aspect, and he can let his guys play. I think more than there's a lot of coaches who get in the way of their players. He doesn't get in the way of his players, but he also isn't there for his players when they need him. I think that's why so many of his teams that had all that top flight talent. You have John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins on the team, and you can't win an NCAA title. Are you kidding me? Like, I know they say the same thing about Duke. They say the same thing about UNC in a lot of cases. So there's more to winning the title than that. It's just I feel like a different coach takes those teams over the top.
Yeah, that is true. So I'll ask you this one last question: your Mount Rushmore as far as greatest coaches?
Wooden.
No. Hold on, AC. Hold on. We're not doing Wooden. Record-wise, yeah. Okay, fine.
He has to be on the
him and Rupp. Okay, listen. That's out of my era, way out of my era. Okay.
All right.
My era, I'm 43, AC, so I ain't got no problem putting that out here. You know what I'm saying? And my era starts at Dean Smith and John Thompson and Bobby Knight era. So from that point on, we
talking like 90s to now.
Yeah, Wood and Rupp they're kind of like the Bill Russell. Of like the NBA, basically. Like those are given.
Okay.
Yeah.
They got their own statue. They don't even put them on the Mount Rushmore. They got their own statue. I got you.
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
So if we're talking like the last 40 years, then Dean Smith and K, man, after that, honestly, man, that is tough. I think Roy has to be there.
Roy's got to go on.
I think the run he had at UNC, he absolutely deserves to be there. And then, I mean, if you're talking longevity, like you got to have Boeheim in the conversation.
No.
If you're talking like winning championships and such, I think Dan Hurley and Tony Bennett belong in the conversation.
No.
I think Hurley belongs in the conversation. You know what? Here's what. All right. You know what? I'm gonna put Hurley on the Mount Rushmore. Here's why. Because Hurley is the best coach to usher in the new era of college basketball with NIL and transfer portal. I think because of the new territory we're going in, like he has changed the game. Like the reason that Duke shipped out 7 players and said, get the hell out of here, I got to bring in everybody else, is because of Dan Hurley. Like what he's done in the portal has been incredible in this short amount of time. In spite of the NIL, in spite of, you know, getting high profile recruits or anything else like that. I think, and then if you win back to back, I mean, you get to dictate college basketball if you win back to back. I mean, I think that's the nature of it. So, I mean, you can talk about Billy Donovan, but see, that's his thing, right? Because Billy Donovan went back to back, but he bowled it for the NBA. So, who knows what he would have done in college? I can't put him on a Mount Rushmore because it was just so short lived. But
I wouldn't put him on the Rushmore. But yeah, Billy Donovan.
I couldn't put Billy D on the Rushmore, but I mean, he won back to back. It's just, and then he was gone. So you never know what he could have accomplished in college. But I think Hurley turning down the Lakers job, I mean, everything he's done in the past 4 years has been, I mean, has led him to this point. I think he deserves to be up there, especially with the new era, what it is.
Do you put him above Bobby Knight?
I do, because Knight didn't win, and then like he won in the 90s, like games, but he like didn't win any titles.
3 chips.
But that was all before the 90s.
Was it?
Yeah. 76, the one with Isaiah in the 80s, 81 or whatever, and then he had the one in 87.
Okay, so scratch Bobby Knight. Do you put him before Jim Calhoun?
Ooh. Now see that all right, so Calhoun definitely has longevity over Hurley. He has as many titles as Hurley technically, because he has the 2.
He's got 3. Calhoun got 3. Yeah. You
right,
said that.
Right. Calhoun does have 3.
Right.
Calhoun does have 3.
Right.
Okay. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. Like I really do appreciate what Hurley is doing right now in this era of basketball. But Calhoun, I mean, oh man, but see, that's the conversation that everybody's having about UConn right now. Like Calhoun goes and wins a title, and then his team is like 15-19 the next season. It's like, what are you doing? Like, what happened? You know what I mean?
Hey, that don't take away from that chip.
It doesn't. It does not. Not at all. Not even a little bit.
Don't take away from the chip. Like a lot of people can say things about Roy and Coach K and stuff, but it don't take away from their chips.
Yeah, but they kept winning though. Like they always won no matter what. They made every tournament of their career. Like Calhoun missed more tournaments than he made.
I will say this. At that time, I think when Calhoun got his last one, I think that the state of college basketball was changing.
It was in that weird transition phase.
Yeah. So I mean, I give him credit for that. My 4, I would have to say Dean Smith, Coach K, Calhoun, and Roy.
Mm-hmm.
And now here's the thing, because I mentioned this before. I have tiers, right? You got the God tier, top tier, mid tier, bottom tier. Everybody that has 1 chip is on bottom tier.
Yep.
Period. That would be your Calipari, Tony Bennett, Scott Drew.
Yeah.
I got to put Patino down there, even though he had 2, but they took 1 away from him. So I got to put him down there. And then, like, my mid tier would be those that have 2 chips. Early, Self, Donovan.
Yep.
And I'd say, yeah. Am I missing somebody? Oh, Boeheim goes at the bottom too.
Because he's at the 1.
Yeah, he's at the 1. Then you got your what is it? The top tier, which would be your Roy Williams, your Bobby Knight, your Calhoun, and I can't even put Dean Smith is at the top regardless of
yeah.
how many chips he's got. I
For
think
sure.
to me, I think Dean Smith is the greatest coach ever.
Dean changed the game. Like the Coach K coached the reason Coach K coached the way he coached is because of Dean Smith. I mean, you just got game change. Again, Dean came along at a transition point and completely changed the way basketball was played.
Yeah. So I gotta put that Dean is up there like that top tier, even though he only has 2 chips. But because of what he's done for the game,
yeah,
you gotta put him up there regardless of what anybody says. It doesn't matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? So to me, that's the greatest coach of all time. And then I would have to go K, of course. Like I give credit where it's due. I don't like Coach K, but I like Coach K. I like what
I mean,
Coach
he's my
K.
GOAT. Obviously, he's my GOAT. Five chips over 1,200 wins or whatever. Like,
and I give it to him. The Coach K is an amazing, great coach. He's got 5 chips. He did his thing. And he's the most wins. So of course you got to put him up there, and I respect it for sure. I don't I had this talk with Pablo. I don't like him because of his likeness, but that's a whole nother story that we'll delve into, at a later date or whatever the case may be. But I respect Coach K. I really do. If I had to pick him to be a coach on my team, absolutely. Absolutely. Just because, and I'm basing that off of his accolades and his records and, and all of that and stuff, whatever. As far as his likeness, I got a whole nother side when it comes to him, his arrogance and cockiness and, and all of that and stuff. Which I get it because it is what it is or whatever. So, but
that's where Hurley is right now. I feel like he's got like the same cockiness. That's what feeds him, right? Like that's his personality. That's what he imparts on his team. It's just again, like you win back to back, you earn it. You definitely earn it. But it's like, okay, what's next? Like if UConn flames out this season, like that whole thing, like you can't talk as much, man. Like you got to back off a little bit. Like,
do you think he should have took the Lakers job?
I think he would have got exposed up there. You can't talk to LeBron like you do, Donovan Clingan and them as 21-year-old kids. Like, I don't know his personality shouldn't get in the way of his basketball acumen. He definitely, like, the sets he puts together, him and the assistant coach that kind of runs their offense, Ryan, I can't remember his last name, but either way, like those two really have, they are ushering back in an era of like really, really good sets in college basketball, which you hadn't seen in a little while. It kind of became a game of, okay, let's just run pick and roll, let our best players do what they do. And, some of the teams that didn't have that talent would run certain plays and sets and stuff, but it wasn't great. But I think he's making other coaches up their game. But I don't know that he translates to. I mean, it's hard for college coaches to translate to the NBA. It's difficult. And we were just talking about Billy Donovan. Like he's stuck around, but he hasn't done anything special in the NBA.
I mean,
and that's true. Is he coaching right now in the league?
He coached the Bulls, right?
Yeah, that's right. He's with the Bulls. That's right. He's with the Bulls.
Yeah, he's coaching the Bulls. Yeah.
He's with the Bulls. So,
I listen. We got to wait and see about Dan Hurley, man. We just got to wait and see.
It's gonna be a big season for him.
Telltale. Yeah.
I don't think they win no chip. I don't think they win the title. But like they put together, like the Big East is what it is. Like, but in their non-conference, if they come out of their non-conference and beat some big teams or whatever, it's like, okay, all right, I see you, because I mean he's gonna win games in the Big East. The Big East, they got about 4 or 5 teams that are really good, and that's about it. And his teams are always gonna beat up on the little teams because of his mentality. Like he has a way of just finding anything to just say and do and say, okay. They hate us, whatever else he's going to say to get his guys to play. So he's not going to lose to like bad teams. Like he doesn't do that, which I think is a hallmark of a good coach too. Like being able to get your guys up for those games that there might not be any motivation for, but it'll be interesting to see. I don't think they win a chip this year though.
I tell you a team that we slept on or whatever that we could talk, of course, off air about, but we slept on Gonzaga. We did not mention them, they're going to be really good this year. Ooh,
I struggle.
I'm a little nervous. Mark Few might get it his first chip. I doubt it.
Maybe. I struggle with Gonzaga. I do, man. And it's
to me, this would be the year.
Few get over the top?
You know, it's the same way that what's his name? Oh man, Kelvin Sampson can't get over. But I digress.
I mean, the same thing was said about K, right? Like Coach K went to like 6 straight Final Fours before he actually even won one. Like it was the same conversation as Mark Few. It was like he can't win a championship. He just can't do it.
You know, the only thing I've always said this about Gonzaga, they always put Gonzaga at the top, like in when it comes to like preseason and all of that and stuff. But the only reason why they're always up there is because of the conference that they're in. They don't play nobody. Right. And so when they get to the tournament and you meet them teams that's been dogging it out all season, the Kentuckys and Arkansas and Dukes and Carolinas and Baylor,
that might be a part of it.
Yeah, like you struggle with it. Same thing with Houston. Now, the good thing about Houston is the fact that they're in the Big 12 now.
Right.
So, you know, that's going to help them a lot more because you're gonna bang with big teams. Yeah. Like the Big 12 is big players, big teams, or whatever. The Kansas State, you know, teams like that, Baylor's and all of them. So that's what helps.
That's another team. Baylor is nasty.
Baylor's gonna be really
they got Omier.
Really nice. Yeah, Roach. Now I will say this: if y'all would have kept Roach, Duke would definitely Duke would be a Final Four pick for me. And I hate to say that. But if y'all had Roach with that leadership,
that leadership's important. And I think that's what I think. Seeing James takes that Roach mantle. I think he takes that leadership aspect because he 5 years now in college, 4-year starter. Like and honestly, like the play style is similar because Roach is attacking the basket, like he's taking them shots, like he's hitting big shots. His competitiveness is off the charts. Yeah. I feel like seeing James the same way. He's just 6'6". So you know, does he pick up? Is he able to pick up Shire's system as well as Roach was? I mean, Roach is in it for 4 seasons, so he obviously has a leg up there. But if he can unlock seeing James, I think you have a 6'6" Roach essentially with seeing James.
Yeah, but Roach would have been, of course, better than Sion James. Only because of the fact if Sion brings that to the court, it could start affecting the guys in the locker room because of the fact everybody would look at him besides the Proctor and Caleb Foster. They would look at him more so like, bro, you new here. Like, hold on now. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if it was Jeremy Roach, you got all of them freshmen coming in along with the transfers and stuff like that. The players would be more accepted to it because of the fact this guy's been here forever. This is he knows what it is or whatever. They'll be more likely to listen to Roach more so than James. So you know, it may happen, but you got to be careful with that because of the fact you are a new player.
I mean, but whether it's good or not good, this is Tyrese Proctor's team. I mean, he's the point guard. He's the one who's been there for 3 seasons now. Like, whatever that means, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be good or bad. I look at him like a Duhan. If he plays like Duhan did, I'm straight. We don't need him to score. He's not a good scorer. I don't need him to score. I don't need him forcing the ball. Like, if he can just facilitate and get it to these options that we got, then I think the team is straight. Like, if we have to rely on him to score, it's. I don't think we have a great season.
Yeah,
I think it's that simple.
Because he didn't show up last year at all.
He's not a scorer. I mean, I did a breakdown on our podcast about his splits. Like, whenever he was the one who was forced to score, like there were games he put up like 24 points, but he did it in like 20 shots. Like he shot like 7% from 3. Like when he was like in games where he was asked to be like the scorer, but in games where he was allowed to facilitate and just play as like the 3rd or 4th option, like he was like a 40% from 3 shooter. Like barely any turnovers, shit like that. But it was like when he was the guy who had to do everything, like it was trouble. And it was the same thing with Duhan. Duhan had that one off season his junior year where he was asked to do so much, and it was just he couldn't handle it. But then his senior season, that 04 year where we lost to Emeka Okafor and them, I mean Duhan was he was lights out. He was first team All ACC, and I think he scored like 9.9 points a game.
Yeah.
Just
gonna be interesting.
So great.
Yeah. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I am so excited about college season. Oh man, it's gonna be great. It is going to be so great. It's gonna be better than last year. Like if you ask me, with all of the changes.
Look, I'm not saying this because my team lost in the Elite Eight, whatever else. Last season sucked for college basketball. You didn't have stars. Like you didn't have true stars, right? I don't care what anybody says about Zach Edey. I hate watching him play basketball.
Listen. We all know he's not gonna transpire into anything in the NBA. We already
hated watching him play ball.
Yeah,
we
already know.
UConn wasn't a fun team to watch. They were incredible. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, beat everybody by 20, but it's not fun watching them play. And they beat everybody by 20 because there's no other competition. Like, the league, everything was down. Like that Duke team should not have made the Elite Eight. Like, shouldn't have. Like, that's not you don't think of that team as an Elite Eight team with Filipowski and them. Like, as many struggles as we had, you don't think about DJ Burns them as a Final Four team. Like, what?
That's a fact.
Like, what? This year,
listen, I mean, Alabama too. Alabama too.
No slight to women's ball, but it's like Caitlin Clark and them being like the fact that Caitlin Clark and Juju and them were they were drawing bigger numbers than the men's game, and that does not happen.
That's a fact.
That does not happen. Right. Like, and I'm not slighting the women's game. Like, I love the women's game. I'm just saying it doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah. So it is what it is, though, man. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see for sure. So
the guards are back. Man. That's the biggest thing. The guards are back. The guards are back.
That is a fact. Looking forward to waiting to see everybody this year. I can't wait, man. I cannot wait. I'm telling you, college basketball is just gonna be so amazing this year. So listen, man, tell everybody once again, where they can find you at and everything or whatever,
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate you. Twitter. You see the handle in there, 5 Point Play Pod C1, 5 Point Play Podcast. You can search us, you'll find us. We on YouTube, do all our live shows over there. We have a Patreon. Anybody who's listening I know it's Duke related for sure, but anybody listening, we got a Patreon. You can catch us anywhere where you can catch podcasts, 5 Point Play. Obviously, we're gonna be doing stuff. We're gonna do stuff with you for sure when Duke and UNC to get together. So I'll make sure y'all talk to us again. I know we had some UNC fans for sure in our mentions on YouTube, especially in the ACC season when the UNC games are coming around. So
I was one of them.
See y'all again.
I was one of them. Now I'm on the other side of things. Now I was just a comment. I was just a watcher then. So now I'm on the other side of things this year. So
we'll play in the comments. Absolutely. We ain't scared, man. It's fun. It's fun discourse. I love it. It's fun. We enjoy it.
That's what's up. So listen, man, I appreciate you coming on. You know what I'm saying? It's always an honor. This ain't no one-time stop. You know what I'm saying? We definitely gonna be doing some more content in the future for sure. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely, it's been an honor, my guy. With you coming on to today's show or whatever. So, just we gonna make some things happen for sure and go Heels. Always.
You mean go Duke? That's what you're like. Let's go Duke.
No. I knew you would come on with that shirt. I knew you would come on with something. See what I'm saying? Yeah. So, Pablo do the same thing, man. I'll be like, listen, man, I'm gonna cut your camera off. You can just talk from behind the scenes or whatever. We don't want to see that stuff on here. It doesn't blend well with the blue, with our blue,
man.
Nah. We not gonna do that. So. But yeah, man, I appreciate you, bro, for sure. Yes, everybody, but thank everybody for watching. Of course, you tuned in to the 94 Feet of UNC. Like I said, this is guest week. So we got one more day, of a special guest. So whatever y'all do, make sure that you like, subscribe, share, comment at the bottom, hit that subscription button, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out. You never know who might pop up and come to the crib, kick their shoes off and chop it up for a little bit, things like that or whatever. This is what we do over here at the 94 Feet of UNC. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at 94 Feet of UNC. And until then, we'll catch y'all on the next one.